the hurricane knocked a bunch of trees down. I got a clear spot, so I'm gonna clear out the bottom and then plant some pecan trees. So I'm excited
Why
to get some of
pecans?
that.
Whoa.
I've always wanted to grow pecans. It's just ever since I was a little kid. So, and at my parents' house, I planted one and never got pecans because I was like probably 5 or 6 years old when I planted it. And I didn't realize you needed two to cross pollinate. So now I got two different varieties that are going to cross pollinate. They flower at the same time. So in like 7 years, maybe I'll have some pecans.
In 7 years, we get limoncello and a pecan pie from Devin.
There we go.
Exactly.
So
I also love how you pronounce pecan.
pecans,
Pecan.
pecans.
It's one of
Yes.
those words like everybody pronounces differently. And as somebody who didn't grow up in the US, I'm like, what is it now? Like, what's the right word?
So
Depends if
Devin,
you're in the north or the south.
I'm gonna press you. What variety of pecans you're gonna go with?
I got Elliot and I got a Pawnee.
Awesome.
Elliot.
So a
But
lot. I
those are
mean,
gonna be huge, right? They like the pecans are gonna be big old trees.
Yeah, they're
big
gonna be
old
big
trees.
trees. They're gonna be along the woods, like across the street. We have a little gravel
Oh, that's
road in front of all the
perfect.
houses, so it'll be at the front over there, and then I'll just clear out all the underbrush, and I'm gonna get some pine straw from a local vendor here and see if it's quality pine straw for us. So do a little.
I feel like I know nothing about pecans. Can you, like, are they native here?
To the southeast, they are. I mean, it's a one of the biggest cash crops for the state of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of them get exported over to China, which is ironic. But
Really?
that the Chinese are the number one consumer of pecans out of Georgia.
See, this holiday season, I'm like, I love gardening, and of course, but like, I feel like I'm definitely a person who has tons of hobbies. And when I have like time off, I'm so much like, I don't want to do anything with plants. I don't want to garden. I want to do like baking and whatnot. And so, like, a lot of my traditional Austrian recipes always call for hazelnuts. And it's so hard to find hazelnuts here to like a reasonable price. And I really realized that pecans are so perfect to just substitute. Like, it has a similar flavor. It works like the substance, if you grind it down, is similar. So, yeah, sorry.
I love
Like,
them. They're
side story of
so good.
baking, life of Kata. But pecans are like definitely became my favorite to
Yeah,
bake.
they're amazing. So I mean, I love driving down here from Atlanta to South Georgia. When you get through like the Cordele area, it is just nothing but pecan orchards everywhere. It's so pretty down there when you're driving through the pecan orchards.
So I got a pecan story for you. In college, I lived underneath a pecan tree. Um, not, I mean, it was in a house, but I lived.
In college,
Um,
Mario didn't have any
I might
money
have slept outside once or twice. Um,
due to other
but
costs.
so my neighbor, Miss Mathis, old lady, kind of hunched over, would come and have her little one of those tools that they would like basically roll, and it would pick up, it would gather all the
Yeah.
pecans. So she didn't have to bend over. So she would dump her little tool into her little plastic bag. Anyway, she was so nice to us. She would make pecan pies and bring us a pie because she would come and collect our pecans, and they
Aw.
make pecans for us, pecan pie. So I always love Ms. Mathis for that. And then, at the food forest, the other pecan story is that it was just a magical place. The food forest had these four pecans, and it still was so basically like 100 years ago, this was an active farm, and they had a pecan orchard. And a lot of times we'd be taking people to the food forest, and the gathering area was underneath this four big giant pecans that had this beautiful canopy, set some picnic tables, and literally people would come out there and they would say, well, I don't really see your food forest. I don't see where people can really eat. Like, and they would be standing under the pecan trees, literally hundreds of pounds of pecans all over the floor of the forest. And it was really kind of one of those trees that people really has to wake up to because they're all over Atlanta. They're all
Mhm.
over the
Oh
South.
yeah.
And they produce literally one tree can produce hundreds of pounds of fruit. So there's just so many opportunities for people to learn about a food producing landscape through just a simple tree like a pecan tree.
Well, and it's
And
with those old pecan trees, what's really cool is like they can go years without being fertilized properly. But if you just start fertilizing them properly again, especially a big old one, they will start producing just like when they were younger. I mean, and you have a
Oh,
mature
cool.
tree there. So,
what would be your fertilization regimen for a pecan?
I mean, I've got to, from what I've heard, which was from good old Walter Reeves, old fashioned, they love 10-10-10. I'm not the biggest 10-10-10 proponent, but it just burns. It's really, it's a very harsh fertilizer, so it's not my favorite. But I mean, if you just give them 10-10-10, I can't remember the exact how many cups per circumference around the tree, but I do know he's talked about it on his show before that you can revitalize those old pecan trees, and they're resilient trees. They're tough, so I think that's
So
pretty
we'll
Yeah.
cool.
just get together again in the retirement home, when we're
Yeah.
80, asking Devin how the fertilizing of his
How'd your trees
There we
go?
go.
Yeah. Also, when you bring up, uh, now I want to say Walter's Garden, but Georgia Gardner, what was his name? Walter?
Walter
Walter
Reeves.
Reeves.
Walter
Reeves.
Reeves. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my childhood. That was
Oh,
like
I
my
know. I used
weekend.
to love listening to Walter
Me
Reeves.
too.
Oh God, I
Yeah.
don't know at all what you're
That's in
talking about.
Atlanta.
I'm
Like,
gonna look it up.
He's a staple.
We need to see if we can get him on as a guest.
Yes, he asked me. I
so,
was on a guest on his show once.
he
So
owes you, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
that's right.
You need to,
That's right. Return the favor owes me. Yeah.
yeah.
Either
Or
way.
maybe
Well,
we can just head over. Yeah. Yeah, that would be so cool.
I got a bunch of his books.
Yeah, I think he lives nearby. That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
he
but then
does.
that
He
could be
lives in
creepy. Like, so.
Yeah,
Wait, so
he's in
what's his
Decatur.
name again? Can you repeat?
Walter Reeves. He's had a radio show on WSB forever.
Yeah, he hung it up, but
Recently
he still
removed.
does his blogging
Blog.
and social media stuff.
Mhm.
That's cool.
It'll be on the news show with Ashley Frasca from time, every once in a while.
All right. So we're going to put some from Plant Nerd AI came up with a couple of things to fertilize and help with it. We'll put that in the show notes.